Ladies and gentlemen, how you all doing? This is Con Ulrich.
Hello, hello, hello.
And folks, giving you some Division 2 action today, but of course, we're back on Situation. So, sir, what do we got? What did they bring in?
Inside in the blue, we have Robert playing Panzer Division Tatra with a Vanguard income. Right hand side in the red, we have Mimile playing Junkin with a Maverick income.
So, I have a soft spot over here for Tatra because they have a soft spot tank with the P-38T. So I'm excited as all get out to check that particular box if you catch my drift. But looking overall, we have seen some really fascinating breakouts in previous weeks on this particular map. I have to say, not really a stellar one by either side. Very standard breakout, I think, for the Soviets. Pretty standard breakout over here for Tatra. Not for nothing. I feel like it's going to be a question of who can throw away 50% of the infantry first, and looking from the fact that we have Landesschützen and Volkssturm, it's going to be Tatra.
Yeah, these going hard in the town here, just driving right past the Soviets, going to be getting in close. Yeah, Mimile doesn't have a whole lot of troops in here down south, so maybe her Robert can exploit this right now and just try to push heavy here. If we look a bit more in the center, Mimile is actually pushing pretty decently onto the lung position. It doesn't have a whole lot to really follow on through, so her Roberts should be able to clear out. Oh, yeah, too. Dropping your bombs.
Yeah, that JU-87 I think should be more than enough to kind of just absolutely shellac whatever's going on there. And he's up. It's going. And I think that should be enough to, shockingly enough, not kill the entire squad. I really thought there'd be something a little more impressive there.
Yeah, I mean, you think it's like precision guided and everything to be a bit more precise and knocking out all the bowling pins. Like bowling pins, I mean people.
Yes, exactly. But what are people? Just fleshy bowling pins, so I completely understand that. It makes sense. He said,
That's
thinking heavily of many. But a second one coming in, we're looking for Stroke DT. With this guy, of course, he does have Molotov cocktails, so she made a much more explosive result, I would think. But even better, I love the addition of the Feldjagers over here. Probably the only opportunity for us to make something worthwhile out of all of those freaking Volkssturm and disheartened troops.
Yeah, the Feldjagers absolutely slap with infantry, Sturmgewehrs, and a sniper rifle, semi-auto sniper rifle. At, yeah, 415 points, and the ability to make the Volkssturm not run away. They're pretty much a must-take in Tatra.
Which is kind of the nice thing about this, because Tatra, again, just kind of the kitchen sink division of infantry, anyway. And honestly, really the tanks as well. I'm not sure we're going to see maybe all of those late card P4s, but hey, who knows? By the time Phase C rolls around, we're pretty much going to know who's going to win, who's going to lose here anyway, so.
Yep, it's going to be pretty much down to her, Robert, of course, with the Vanguard income to do pretty good early on, survive B, and then hopefully do decent enough in C phase. So the income in C phase is pretty negligible difference. Up north, however, we are seeing Mimile push pretty heavy up here, getting the heal after clearing the rave, the pave carpet bomber. That's a better way to say it. You're paving bombs as well, so it also fits. But we got a decent amount of firepower. The Su-122, the Yamcha, a whole lot of infantry. Mimile is going to be able to pretty easily solidify his position.
Yeah, and what's we brought on in? Well, there was a P-Shrek, but, like, congratulations, you have just been connected to God's Wi-Fi. So what we have instead is we have two P3Ls, which apparently don't think it's important to engage that part of the battle space. They're going down towards the lungs, which is a decision I do not agree with.
Yeah, he's trying to desperately pull this in together as we're seeing Mimile push in a bit more heavier some troops. I think our Robert might be able to actually hold on to lungs here, especially if he was to throw that Pioneer MG into the fray. He just does not have line of sight right now. But even then, no, the Strokey getting forced back, the DT's holding the ground. I think it's going to buy him enough time to, well, catch a breath here.
Yes, definitely does seem possible, especially when he brings in some SS Sturm kind of ideas. Now, down south, the town fight looks like it should be just insanely in Herr Robert's favor. Unfortunately, we're coming into that nifty little issue, which is Volkssturm have no legs. In some cases, almost literally. But, like, the Feldjäger lagging badly, so now we have that P3L coming on in with his massive cannon, and the Emscher going ha 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 and sneezing at it until it gets a jammed gun.
Here we go. I also think in town fights like this, it's always an interesting dynamic because it's hard to get good recon in a town for obvious reasons, unless you can use a recon plane. So you're always a little bit hesitant in fully sending everybody up into the front line as well. But yeah, also just having all the folks from in the front line getting suppressed also slows down your forward momentum.
It does very much. Now that the Feldjäger is now finally getting close enough to bring those guys back to heal, but there's still our PTRs, there's still DTs, there's still an awful lot of junk down there that you really don't want to be dealing with.
Oh, another Stuka run up north.
I'm very confused by where the machine guns went and then where the bomb went on that one.
It's not 1940 anymore. All the good pilots are dead.
That's actually quite fair. Krupp gun to the northern side as well, so an 88 mil. Not really, in my mind, the biggest and best investment, but I can understand why he did it at least.
I think for Robert, he's just kind of cutting his losses up north. So, okay, you have the hill, I get ya. Just you're not getting out town now, however. I'm going to put on the heavy anti-tank. I'm going to bring in more cross-eyed Stuka pilots. And he's probably just going to try to hold that northern side and try to keep that momentum down south in the breakout position of the map.
Well, now he just sent the same Stuka pilot. Oh my gosh. You know, it's like, to quote Spaceballs, it's like any other assholes we got on this ship. Oh my gosh.
137 mil completely shutting that down, of course. Dangers of using the precise bomber Stuka. This is where we like cluster Stukas a lot. We're very pro cluster Stuka on this channel because you don't need to do any fancy loop-de-loop, even though it makes a cool Russian sound. But the cluster Stuka comes in, drops bombs, gets out, kills IS-2.
Leave that junk for like playing when you play IL-2 or War Thunder or whatever. But like, yeah. In this one here, I'd rather just keep my plane nice and level, hit the bongo burr button, and life goes on.
I have that button on my keyboard as well. I'm not the only one.
Meanwhile, the 30p down here, the you're 2 is you're out of here as the BF-109 chasing him actually goes down to 37 mil pop gun.
Yeah, and we're seeing Mimile is actually really keeping the momentum push up north. Not content with the hill, going down into the town, and even sending a BA-20 along the flank here. But Pak-43 has its works cut out for it.
He does, but he's also going to be able to engage that Sherman to the north. And while he's not going to engage a whole lot to the southern side, wait, is that Martyr engaging to the north? No, he's going to engage that infantry, shouldn't he? Yes, there we go.
I think, yeah, High Roberts should be able to secure these lines, especially if the half-track fire support being brought on in, and if he can just pan-distract the BA-10. I mean, northern side, he's gonna have to deal with that, however it is. I think it's all just gonna come down to the southern side, whether High Robert can break through. Otherwise, he's just not gonna have the momentum.
Yeah, and unfortunately for him, the BA-10 is actually, you know, spicy enough with the Sherman that he can take things down to Pound Town, really. And now leaving him with no P3s in that town. He's got a Martyr way the heck in the back, and two P3s just kind of like slowly driving their way to the front. Not a pretty picture.
Oh, not at all. The scene down south, it's definitely not looking as good here for Robert. I mean, he does have some better infantry, there's some grenadiers and other troops, but it's a little bit lacking now in terms of numbers. And Mimile actually has a decent amount of fire support here with the M-Cheer, the BA-10, the anti-aircraft gun, and that's all some infantry holding the line.
Well, here's the point where you bring that flak Vierling into the actual town, and you say, you know what, I need to take extra suppression, but we need you. We need you just to actually kill something.
Oh, SG-2 up north flying. It does have bombs. Hits the Pak-43, gets some very good hits here. Robert does not want to be losing that Pak-43 as an expensive call-in. You know, okay, to be fair also, it's not really too much for it to shoot. I mean, you can
True.
blow up some Emchers, but it's not like there's a deadly IS-2 which immediately needs to die.
No, no, that's the ISU 152s later. That's going to be the issue.
Mm-hmm.
We see right now Ju-87, a couple guys that's kind of lingering, kind of lurking around the battle space in the same way that a butler polishing a glass kind of sits over there in the bar. But or at least I mean that's what I assume. I've never really had a butler myself, but life goals maybe someday. But down south, they're finally get those P3Ls back into the map, back into the town. And not for nothing, I get the feeling they're both going to die very, very badly, very, very quickly.
Yeah, if I recall,
That's
I
one.
believe that Emcher has a stabilizer, which allows it to shoot very quickly.
Well, even screw the rather quickly. There's also the BA-10, which can pierce the skin from P3L at 200 meters. Like, this is not exactly, some William Tell shot going from the other side of the map.
Yeah, and we've seen the Strelkies, they smell blood in the water. Those anti-tank grenades want to find the engine deck of that Panzer 3L. By God, he's going to find it.
Yeah, I remember that level of Call of Duty. That was not a fun one to do on Veteran, but I can tell you, when you loft 2 softballs down range, yeah, that's enough.
Very good hits, yeah. Knocking him out, and that's really effective here from Mimile. He's been managed to hold the line down south. He doesn't exactly have the flags in the town down south right now, but he still is at a 15-9. He's trading effectively, and he's now got a platoon of Strelky being brought on in to retake that point.
Indeed. Indeed. Now, looking northern side, Volksturm have, for some reason, not decided to move to the southern side of that forest and maybe at least stop the bleeding from a -2 just down to a -1. Krupp is back in play. So is a Tiger, though, too, which is an interesting investment in the northern side. I guess
Yeah.
here's the question. Do you throw it in the center by the lung, or do you keep it up north? Like, I think I kind of want to hear your thoughts on this one.
That's a kind of cool. Like, where do you take it? Because if you push it up north, it's a bit more open and you can hit the plateau. Go down south, it's a bit dangerous at the start, but if you can get it onto the lungs, it's a good fire spot. Honestly, I'd say my final answer, Khan, up north, because if he can retake the town here, that's going to be very critical for him to, I don't think he's going to take back Northern Hill anytime soon, but at least give him another angle of attack to try to hit the lungs from the northern portion.
Well, he's engaging right now the SU-122, and he's being engaged in turn by the ZIS-2. Luckily for the for the Tiger, the ZIS-2 is pushed back immediately anyway by the sniper fire from the now dead Feldjäger, and the SU-122 goes down.
Good hit, yeah. The other problem as well here is Robert, he's sending a lot of his troops to deal with the lungs, but he needs ground infantry presence in that town. Apart from that one partisan Volksturm, they're probably taken in, well, I say taken in the boots, but I got bloody 8 Panzerfaust. We could probably just blow up at Emscher once they're ready.
Yeah, once they're ready, but it seems like it's going to be forever before that happens. And I think this Tiger is going to go, and yep, he's going to get himself killed by Strelky. Here it comes. 3, 2, 1, engage. Wow. He's still going to die. This is time to retreat, my friend. He's not going to miss twice.
I always like it as like a reload time on grenades. I mean, I understand balance, all of that, but I just imagine like the dude's like, "Where's my other grenade? Does anyone have it? It was in my other pocket."
To me, I kind of think of it the same way from like Saving Private Ryan, where like the first guy goes up with a sticky bomb and blows himself up, and the other guy's like, "You light it, you light it." And it's like,
yeah,
that's my headcanon for it. You can see right now that the Czechs are trying to put themselves into those lungs with the half track right behind them, and this is the weird thing: these guys actually could push back this infantry just because their firepower is so light and so anti-infantry.
Yeah, like Panzer 38Cs, of course, maybe a little bit outdated, but for 20 points, they're very cost effective with that 60 frontal armor.
Yes, they are. Yes, they are. Meanwhile, down south, you're saying about getting some more firepower into this town, and that is just not happening. The SS Sturm Grenadiers getting absolutely wrecked by every DT known to mankind, some DPs, and some every Ds. So just getting, like, these Ds heavy. Not pretty.
Yeah, because her robot has not been able to trade effectively down south after that initial engagement here, and we're seeing it is just going to collapse.
And you know why he wasn't able to do that? Because of freaking Volk Sturms.
Mm-hmm.
I get the gimmick. It's not a gimmick I like.
You could say you're a bit disheartened.
Yeah, you could certainly say that. You could say that again if you wanted to, but I think I'd rather watch this martyr give himself up for the fatherland as just, like, grenades galore come out. That's one. And he goes down, there's one. So there we go. So, looking behind, Hetzer's gonna Hetz, Stug coming in, Volksturm there as well. And the first piece of infantry to run afoul of this flak veerling I want to see as well. But I don't know if those guys are really... Oh, there's a couple optimistic guys looking really go outside of town. That's going to get shut down pretty quickly.
Also up north, we do see Mimile actually invest in a T-3045, getting in a pretty critical position on that northern line. Going to be forcing back out Marder 3 and just zoning out that northern area. And then there down south, another T-3045 being brought on in. And that's a pretty target-rich environment for Panzer Khan.
Yes, yes. Now, the northern T-3045, I do actually want to kind of update. He is going into the lungs themselves, so it goes from very useful to questionably more useful. He's going to be able to take out the P-38s. That's not surprising there, but it's also the MJ that's right there as well. So, okay, cool.
Yeah, that should be enough to clear it out.
Yeah, I just don't think you need 2 medium tanks here.
I'm
going to nitpick. I'm just going to nitpick.
G2 coming in, going to be getting some very good reconnaissance. Flak-filling actually fulfilling its role. Yeah, it's just coming down to the infantry fights here. Especially down south, just a huge amount of Strelkies and just a decent amount of fire support here. And her robot's only, bringing out a squad or two, and then they get picked off one by one.
But that's the thing, isn't it? I mean, this was the phase where Mimile was going to either win or he was going to die. There was really nothing in between.
Indeed. And Stuka's coming in.
First
once again. Sorry, how you... Oh, one's going to make it.
Yeah, I mean, you throw enough stuff at the wall, eventually something has to hit.
It's 2 kills, but yeah.
When the flak veerling engages the T-3485, somehow hits everything but the tank and just gets completely blown apart.
Damn. You always expect more of the flak veerling. Up north, we do see her robot actually making finally an effective push into town, going to be clearing up the infantry. But there's an ISU 152 on that hill. He has the high ground. He has, I think, a pretty big gun, and there's a lot of shaft targets for him to shoot at.
Yeah, and if there's not enough soft targets, I suppose the shaft targets, there's a Tiger being brought on in a little bit. The question is, will he get to the front lines before everything goes pear-shaped? My heart says yes, but my mind says no.
The ISU's just the hand of God, picking off everything one by one. We're also seeing the 160mm mortar being brought up here from Emil as well, so that's going to be some heavy-duty firepower to start blowing up some buggers.
Oh, I'm sorry, I was watching the Hetzer as he somehow missed from literally under 100 meters from a T-3045 that's right in front of him.
Ah, of course! That's just going to head so they can't.
Yeah, just like, jeez, dude. For an ambush predator, it's pretty much not what you want to be seeing in ambush predators. Verframen, though, he is here. And he's going to be aiming towards that hillside. Unfortunately, whenever he goes and sends that Wurfkörperspreng Granate, it's not going to be enough. It's just, it's not. It's not going to take out the ISU. And it's just, I think we're seeing ourselves go into a very, very dark place for Herr Robert.
Yeah, I would say, pretty confidently, with no caster's curse being able to inflict his decision, he's probably going to lose. So let's take his 2 times 2.
At 45?
Yep.
Alright. And that's kind of the issue here, folks, is that Tatra, very, very gamey, but at the same time, you gotta be very, very precise in how you deploy your initial breakout. And I think, again, if you want to bring stuff like Volksturm, fine, I get it. But then don't throw all of them in the same area. You got to be much more discreet, let's say, than that.
It's kind of like with Tuesday's replay. Mimile just traded very effectively, and also just being able to take a northern part of the map, which is now going to get saturated by the Verframen, and really exploit that location, because he held onto that town for a long time, and her Robert has not been able to get back onto that plateau effectively. Yeah, he's just traded effectively north, south, and in center. So, very good job, yeah.
Yes, indeed. So the Verframen, I saw him fire 2 rounds. I think he died somehow. I'm not sure from what, but he died from something. Jagdpanzer in the middle, kind of desperate to try to push things back. Tiger came up, took out the ISU, but, push comes to shove, down south. A lot of this infantry over here, I think, actually survived since the beginning. Or very, very close to it, if nothing else.
It's definitely snowballed out of control here, because that's a lot of angry Russians slowly making their way to the front line.
Yes.
Well, they're making the front line as they go, let's be real.
Yes. Now, Ju-87, if you want to go and bring in some, ground attack planes, that's fine. Just let's do it. That's something a little bit more consistent. I think the Ju-87, unfortunately, is a card that I don't think belongs in a lot of decks any longer. Not in this particular format.
Yeah, it can work very early on if there's no AA, but as you see, even just a single 37 mil can just shut you down. And yeah, pretty standard. 900 KD difference, yeah.
And, it feels like it should have been more than that. And I think one of the reasons it wasn't was just because of all of those stinking Volksturm getting, popped early. They don't move the needle a lot in terms of kill value. But felt like a lot more died over here for the Germans as opposed to the Soviets.
Indeed. And then we got the BA-10, the Amtschuder in Rel. Yeah, some decent...
The
oh, the ISU. Yeah, some decent standouts.
From the other side, we have Schutt over here, who got himself a couple of kills. And the Feldjäger, of course, so one of the few times the officer actually did something.
Oh.
And you know what? I will call out the Volkssturm, but at that point, I'm really putting lipstick on that pig. And the Jagdpanzer. Yeah, I mean, nothing too crazy.
Yeah. Well, yeah,
so
solid game.
Yeah. Open and shut. Well done over here for, Fedikin. Unfortunately, Tatra, not really feeling... kind of throwing a tantrum, but not really kind of doing what they need. But I think that's going to do it for today for our Division 2 coverage, unless you have anything to add, sir?
No.
Well, folks, in that case, then until next time, I'm Conolberg.
I'm Rangru. Take it easy.